Right, so I'm here today with Ben from Angling For You. Just going to tell you about what we've got going on here at Lindholme Lakes. So as you're probably aware, we're on changing with sponsors, hoping to push the festivals, what we've got coming. We've got the Omar one in a couple of weeks, we've got over 70 anglers in attendance, and it's going to be a competitive week, some massive weights as you've probably seen. The fishery's fishing really well. In terms of everything else we've got going on, we've got another 3 lakes coming for next year. And over 300 pegs, so hopefully going to make us the biggest fishery in the country. We're expanding the lodges and the caravan sites to give all the anglers accommodation, and we've also got plans in the pipeline for a new tackle superstore. That might be a little while off yet, but it's something for you all to look forward to, what we've got coming. So yeah, that's about it really. Keep an eye out for the festival results. The draw goes live later this week. There's going to be some top anglers in attendance, just to name a few. There's Andy Bennett, Nick Speed, Tom Pickering, all the top lads here, so it's sure to be a really competitive week. So yeah.
What are we looking for in likes to fisheries wise? I've noticed today obviously a really good mixed bag in this one, in bonsais today. Yeah,
so basically last winter we stocked a lot of silverfish into the lakes, we stocked a lot of chub and hide, things like that, just to keep bites coming through the winter. As you've probably seen today, the head of fish we've got is phenomenal really. We've got a lot of fish in all the lakes. In fact, yesterday the club match had over 340 pounds, which with 56 anglers on the lake I think says a lot about it. The fishing side sells itself really. At the minute we're concentrating on developing the lodges, the site, and giving you more facilities to use. We want to be more than just a fishing lakes, which is the way I think it's progressing. But there's always a space for the anglers here. Obviously they're what the site's founded on, so we'll keep them at the forefront of everything.
What would you say to someone for a pleasure? Say someone will come in for a pleasure session and maybe not fish so much. I mean, I always find it useful because you know you come in, you can ask your questions. What sort of would you suggest ponds wise and for a pleasure fisherman?
Well, we've got a bit of everything really. There's the Benny's Lake, what I know you've been on before, haven't you? And that's a great way of getting new people into fishing. They'll come, they catch on any method, get millions of bites and have a fantastic day out. We've also got a bit at the beaches and the loco, which are bigger fish, if you're wanting a steadier day pleasure fishing, or maybe try to target a big 20 pounder. A bit of everything for everyone.
And that's in it, and we were just discussing that even if you want coaching with yourself, that's available as well.
Yeah, I've got the coaching. I'm just going into my 2nd year now. I've tried to do it a little bit different for everyone. Obviously I'm local and I'm on site a lot, so what I can do an evening, an hour, a full day. I try to cater for everyone because for a full day, some people, it's a lot of money. It might be a week's wage. Yeah. So by being flexible, having the hour, it's something that everyone can afford. Or it might just be your casting you want to sort out and you don't need a full day. In fact, the technique's a couple of hours and they can go away and practice it. And then that way it's not overloading people with information. There's enough for them to go away and work on it and progress with that. And then they can come back and we can talk about other things. Just to suit the angler rather than lining my pockets really. Yeah,
what I've noticed is obviously from you not just do the coaching, you're welcome to give a little bit of advice to point people on right pegs. You know, you actively want people to have a good day.
Yeah, obviously if we want all the lads and anglers that come here to be happy when they walk away off site. We've spent a lot of time getting the lakes right, putting the fish in, making it great, so we want you to all catch a fish, have a great day and say good things about us.
Absolutely. Well, thanks a lot for your time, buddy.
No problem. See you soon.
Hi, my name's Ben and welcome to Angling For You. You join me today at the wonderful Lindholme Lakes, and we're on the bonsai complex, and today we're going to do a bit of pellet on the method up to the islands, and hopefully we're going to have a few fish, and we've got one on now. Looks like a small barbel. It's over a little barbel. It's just get him unhooked and we'll run through the rig. Lovely fish, just hooked nicely in the lip. As you can see, little torpedoes, fantastic fish. Let's get it back in. Right, let's have a look at the rig. Right, so the setup's pretty simple today, to be honest. Just get this from underneath here. So what we've got is a 11-foot Daiwa yank and bank. Lovely rod action all the way, it bends all the way through. Lovely, fantastic action, and we've matched that with a TDM reel, and on that TDM reel we have got an 8-pound Daiwa hyper sensor, and that's all the way through. We've got a twizzle bit of line there where we've got a Daiwa hybrid feeder that's running up and down on it, 28 gram. Want it to hold up against that island where we're fishing it. We've got it slightly under tucked, and we've got a little 4-inch hook link on there, and that's 019 power line from Preston Innovations to a PR36 16 hook with a little band. And the simple way we're going about it is obviously fishing Lindholme Lakes. It's fishery pellets only, so obviously if you have a fishery like this one, it's using their pellets only. So really simple, no ground bait, no nothing, just their standard feed pellets, and all we're doing is loading the feeder, doing it by hand. I'm just covering a nice light bit of area there, and then we're going to put that hook on top of it, cover that up, press down, and just another small sprinkle and another press down. You want to be doing these casts sort of every sort of 2 to 3 minutes really this time of year, so you can see nicely compact all together. When we're fishing, when we're casting feeders, a lot of people make this mistake of having too little line. As you can see from mine, we've got a couple of foot there, and that's the kind of action that we need. Otherwise, that's when you get snap-offs or round the tips or not as much accuracy. So we're going to swing it away in a pendulum action, and when it comes back towards us, that's when we're going to lift the rod up, let the pendulum take over, and then punch it out. What we've done is we fish sort of 1.5 meters past where we're going to fish, and then we're going to put a rod behind us, and that takes up that slack and allows it to drop in that same place. So let's give it a go, and hopefully we'll be on the money. There we go, straight on the spot. So we're sinking that line, getting all that line from off the top of the water. We don't want any of the surface tension to play about with the line. Very important that we have the rod rest as close as we can to the water. That just eradicates any wind playing with the tip or any extra turbulence that we can find. Gives you a lot truer bite reception and more accurate straight to the tip. We're getting little touches on there at the moment. We're just fishing a little mud bar out there, just right up to the island, where there's sort of a little undercut where the fish are. You can actually see it if you look. There's undercut away at the banking, and that's where the fish are coming in and undercutting and sort of burying their way through, scurrying for food, getting extra cover, and you tend to get the better fish that hide under there. Getting little telltale signs all the time that there's fish in the area. And don't always, most carp bites, F1 bites, usually take it off the rest. You do have to look for those delicate bites. Well, we are fishing with pellet, and there's a good head of skimmers in here, so if the skimmer's about, you will catch them, that's for sure. It's a lovely complex Lindholme Lakes. Obviously, as a lot of you've already fished, there's a lot of lakes on here. Neil does a fantastic job. There's a lot of match ponds, big weights, a lot of fish variety, whatever you want to go for really. There's a clonking bite, that one was. As you see, most F1 and carp bites are like that. Absolutely rest raggers. Normally I would have the rod action when they've got playing fish like this completely flat to them, but as you can see, the peg that we're fishing, it's not as easy as that, it's a bit of a jungle peg, and we sat slightly far back. But again, it's another barbel, nice and strong fish. It's a tiny bit bigger than the last one we've just had. It's a nice fish. We'll be in a day. I'll take a day of barbel all day. And that's the good thing of fishing the sort of match venues like Lindholme. They have those variety of fish where you can catch sort of barbel, tench, carp, all these sort of different species, and barbel are becoming a lot more popular in these match venues, and that's a fantastic fish. As you can see, another one of those little torpedoes, super powerful, super fast, fantastic bite. What we need to do now is just continue on that same principle. So if you see it tangled like that, make sure you double check all these things before you go to get your bait on, then you're not messing about. So always keep it under a little bit of tension, the rod under a little bit of tension. You tend not to get any of those where it folds over the top or gets any sort of tangle happening, anything like that. So again, with the 8mm pellets, sometimes you can use 6mm pellets as well, but what I do find on a general rule is that fishing with the 8s, you do get a better stamp. That fish, don't get me wrong, a 1 pound F1 will be happy still taking a pellet, an 8mm pellet is no problem. But as a rule, you tend to eke out those slightly better fish when using them. So again, we're aiming for that sort of left-hand quarter of the sign, and again right underneath there, underneath that sign. I'm just winding down nice and steady, watching that line sink upon the surface till it's all down, and it's just a case of lifting your rod gently onto the rest and tightening it up, and that's it, you're fishing. The biggest thing with feeder fishing, and if you watch the best stars, the Des Ships, the Tommy Pickerings, the Ringers, they'll all say the same thing. When you get that feeder in place, you don't want to move it, especially when you're fishing up to an island and you get a casting like that where it's just underneath that island and it's perfect prime position. It needs to hit your clip, drop down, and it wants to be sinking down, and you want to be just sinking that line, and no, you want to take up the slack, but you don't want to be moving it whatsoever. Just sink that tip and get it and put it back onto your rest. Getting signs again straight away. There's obviously quite a few fish in this area. Just going to drop that down a little bit so it doesn't interfere with the camera. A little touch on it there again. There's fish all about, and sometimes you get those little sort of not real bites, I say, and that's when you've got a lot of fish coming in at different angles and they're disturbing the feeder and they're disturbing the line, you're getting the line bites. Don't strike at those, that's when you end up with a foul looker, or you end up getting yourself in a bit of a mess or spooking fish. When it goes round confidently, or it's a confident drop off, that's when you want to be striking. We don't even need to strike, it's a case of picking the rod up and winding into the fish. Like I say, ideally keep flat to the fish either side. You don't really want to be lifting the rod up until you get near netting it, because you're pulling the fish up. But sometimes you can't help it. Like I said, this peg can't really get my rod either side to keep it flat, but I'm keeping it as flat as I possibly can when playing it. This is all I can do really. And the things you've got to remember when you're fishing feeders, any type of fishing, especially fishing a method or fishing a feeder, is repetitive and accurate. So we're in a system, the bait, aiming for that same spot. And have we got another? Yes, we have. Yeah. And you want to you want to be hitting that same spot and you'll get the best results. You're going to catch more fish if you can hit the same spot. Simple as that. Don't know what this is yet. I don't think it's woken up yet. Not sure what it is. It's not nothing big, I don't think. Oh, it's a little lazy carp. A little lazy F1. I don't think it really knows it sucked. Now it knows it sucked. It sort of wallowed its way in there. It's a nice fish. So again, just repeat your same process. That's beautifully hooked in the lip, right in the bottom lip. Lift that feeder out of there and we'll get him up for you. Beautiful, beautiful quality F1. They do a fantastic job at Lindholme, and you can just see the quality of the fish. I mean, that is a stunning F1, an absolutely immaculate condition. Like I say, Alex and Neil and the team here do a great job on the fish and the fishery itself, as you can see from the photos on the website and the video that you've got going now. Even just seeing Bonsai, you can see the quality of the venue is, you know, absolutely top notch. We've got a fantastic clubhouse behind us for matches and for a shop as well. And a little cafe in there for the weekends, and also they've got all the caravan sites around it, so they've got holiday lets and lodges and bits and bobs that you can visit if you want to do a weekend here, or you want to, you know, come over for a week or a few days. You know, you can book into those lodges and have a fantastic stay, or you can do what I'm doing and just come for a day fishing if you're quite local, which, to be honest, there's not many places better than it in certainly in Yorkshire, that is for sure, and if not in Britain. There's some very good venues all over, but as a whole package, takes some beating, does this one. So again, just repetitive, following that process, sinking that line, getting everything nice and tight. Don't want too much tip on a bend on the rod as well. I see that a lot of times. That's just a really bent round rod under so much tension, and it's so easy for the fish to dislodge the feeder when you do that, because it's under so much tension. It sort of springs back. You want just enough to take up the slack, so you can see those drop back bites, but mainly most bites usually are forward. And you'll find when you fish up to islands like this, a lot of the fish come towards you, or they'll go down the bank when they take the bait, and that's because they've obviously got nowhere behind them to go. Whether if you're fishing up open water or anything like that, you would be obviously all ledgering on the bomb. It'd be completely different. Obviously in open water they can go in any direction they want, but you tend to find that's another bite. There's a great bite there. Too busy talking to camera to watch that. Nearly had the rod, that one. But as you can see, there's plenty of fish there. Cast. Same spot, bang on the money. Sink the tip of the rod underneath. Get that line sunk. Like I say about rhythm and action, you'll get yourself into that system, and you know, casting. I know some of us make it look easier than others. We all have us bad casting days, but the thing is to understand is it's a lot of practice, and you know, if you want to be good at something, you need to practice it. I would suggest if you've got a park or anything near you, or somewhere you can get a bomb, just to put a bomb on there, and get like maybe a lid of something, a bin lid or anything like that, and aim for that at distance and practice hitting it, get a line clip on there and practice hitting it, and that's what I would do. A nice F1. It's the only problem when you're fishing in summer, you don't wear your waders, so your legs get absolutely soaked. But it's all good fun. This fish has cooked perfectly again in the lip. We're hooking them so beautifully. And again, look, another quality fish. So again, we repeat that process. I know it sounds like I keep going over and over, but the more you do it, the more it becomes second nature. And I will again say to you, you definitely need to come and visit here. I mean, it's unbelievable venue. I mean, the I think record, Andy Bennett still got record on this one on Bonsai. It's well over £300, and you know, there's every week there's a regular £200, and like every fishery, they have pegs that are slightly better than others, but on a whole, on the venue, it's you don't really matter what peg you're on, and especially if you're pleasure fishing, it don't really matter what venue you're on. And you know, any one of these ponds are fantastic. Out we go again, hit that clip, a little kick off the island, that one there. Didn't quite throw the clip behind myself enough, but we've still got the same result. That's the good thing when you've got no shrubs behind it. If you do not lift back enough, you know, it can bounce off there. That's the other thing, you know. I don't do these videos to say I'm the best. I'm not a professional by any means to the stretch of imagination. Yeah, I can fish. Yeah, I know stuff, but it's never my way or the highway. This is, you know, the purely to help people get into fishing, look at different ways of fishing, different methods of fishing. And you know, I don't get it right all the time. Of course I don't. And you know, I don't hit the spot absolutely every time. I like to think I'm a good 85% to 90% with the casts. But you know, like anybody, you put some casts all over. And the thing is, if you're missing it a couple of 6 to 8 inches either side, it's not too bad. But if it's a bit worse than that, or you come too close into yourself, or the best thing to do is just reel that straight back in, just calm yourself down a little bit, go back through into your routine, get everything back how you were doing, forget about it, and cast it again. Sometimes you do 2 or 3 times, you might do that, and until you get that 4th one back in. But it's worth putting it back in the right place, because you'll catch more fish in the right place, and 2 minutes in the right place is better than 10 minutes in the wrong place. And you know, I've learned that over the years, and I've fished with a lot of people, and you know, they'll tell you that all day long. And it's best advice I can give you, really, to do with stuff like that is, you know, get it right, get it in the right place, and it'll make you a better angler. And then you'll be more consistent, and at the end of the day you'll catch more fish, and that's what it's about. And you might think to yourself, well, I'm only on a pleasure session and it's not, I don't fish matches, it's not that important. But you know, if you go on a pleasure session, you still want to catch fish, and you're going to catch more fish if you're more consistent. Don't I know a lot of people go there and sit down with a deck chair, and it's a, you know, it's a day of relaxation, and yeah, but you still go to fish. So if you want to catch more, that's what I'd give you as advice. Now this one's taken a little longer for the bite. I mean, we've had 4 or 5 fish sort of straight away on a bounce. They've still got little telltale signs, but I'm only going to give it 2 minutes, and I'm quite regimented in those 2 minutes. Unless I see a sign sort of on the end of the 2 minutes, I'm quite regimented in the fact that I want to introduce more bait. When you fish shallow fishing, it's constantly adding more bait, and that's keeping attraction. That's what I want to do here. If there's fish around, they'll hear that plop and they'll get into the routine, and they'll be waiting for that that bait to go in. So it's sort of like 30 seconds to 40 seconds now. I'm going to reel this in if I see no signs, and then get back out there in that same spot. Right, it's coming up to those 30 seconds now. I'm just going to reel that one in. And like I say, the fish still might be there. It's not to say that they're not, but we want to keep that attraction going. Let's turn the GoPro off a second. I want to keep that attraction going, so we're going to add that back in. You can see also with your micro pellets, I give those these fishery ones about a minute, just over a minute, maybe a minute and 20. A lot of people say 2 minutes to get the perfect pellets. It's a minute per millimetre, which, you know, if you're using Fin Perfect and ringers, yeah, that's right. A lot of fishery owned pellets tend to be not as hard as that, and you find that they break down a little bit faster. Same as if you get tackle shop owned pellets, they can break down a little bit faster, and what I do is sort of a minute, just over a minute for a 2mm pellet. Otherwise you end up with a bit of a soggy pellet, and you need to have pellets that are going to bind. Of course you do, but you need pellets that are not going to be completely broken down when you have them in the water. So these squeeze together, but they all break up into individual pellets. Still got a little bit of bite to them, but they still bind around that feeder. But also, you've noticed I've kept them in this sort of covered case, and that's just allows them to keep the moisture in them, not sort of dry out, and, you know, makes a nicer pellet for a longer time, especially if you're fishing and it's a hot day. It's a fish there. That was a forward bite and a little bit of a drop, and it's swimming towards me. And it seems like a smaller fish, this one, but then again it is swimming right the way to me. It's only a small fish, it's a skimmer, which is not the best of signs, if I'm honest, because we've just caught 3 lovely barbel and 3 lovely F1s. I don't want to be starting to go onto skimmers, but it is a nice stamped skimmer, I must say. Just swallowed it a little bit, so I'm just going to nip that out with there. Stay. Don't fancy getting slimy hands, as I'm sure there's a few of you that are about like that as well. I know Matt Richardson's the sinner of skimmers. It's not his favourite thing in the world. Right, so another thing, this is just proving my point. So if we have I'll see if we can do a close-up on this pellet. See how it's getting softer and frayed? What happens there is what I was on about with the pellets before. We caught 2 fish on that pellet, and obviously it's starting to get a bit soggy and starting to break down. That's what we're on about the pellets. If they're in the water for a certain amount of time, they do start to break down, and that's sort of an 8mm pellet. So as you can imagine, using a 2mm pellet, that is going to go a lot quicker in the breakdown. So again, follow that routine. Got in the pellets, squash them in, another little bit for good luck. Keeping that tension on all the time, so that stops us from tangling, so we can get out straight away. Giving yourself a good amount of line. Swing in front of you, swing behind you, throw forward, hit the clip, boom, straight next to the island, straight on the spot. Put the bail arm on, sink the tip of the rod, gently tension that line until you see it all the way across. Make sure there's not too much tension on your rod. Lay it down, it's in position, it's taut, it's fishing, it's ready to go. And there you go, and straight on command there was straight into a fish. I don't know, that wasn't staged. That was pretty good though, how that happened. But as you can see, just following that policy, what I was saying about the dinner bell ringing, they was waiting for that to hit the water. this is tench. Oh, I love tench. As it was waiting for that dinner bell to ring, and like I said, not leaving it there for over 2 minutes keeps them interested. Oh, it's just made my day as this. I could catch a £10 carp all day and I'd be happy, but not as happy as catching one of these little bad boys, and it don't even have to be big. I absolutely adore tench. They are by far my favourite fish. They're absolutely stunning. I love them to bits. So that's made my day. A few barbel and some tench. Can't get better than that for me. Two favourite fish. All I need now is a chub to make my third favourite fish, and we're happy days. See, a lot of these people, they love the carp. Don't get me wrong, I love my carp fishing. But when it comes to favourite fish, definitely tench is number one, closely followed by barbel, and then followed by chub. In fact, in the comments, let's hear your top 3 favourite fish, starting with obviously number 1, your favourite, and working its way down to the third one of 3 favourites, and just put them in the comments below. It'll be interesting to see what other people like to catch. So again, we've followed that process. See if we can get a nice one to end the video. Cast forward, cast behind, and straight on the corner of that sign, sink the line, lift the rod out of the water, it's on the rest, ready to fish. Let's go. No, not this time, but pretty good how it was in line last time. But yeah, it's something else fishing here, and I'm getting touches now actually, and we are into another fish. And I mean, it's a ridiculous venue. It's fantastic fun, and the best thing about today so far for me, I mean, is I've had F1s, I've had tench, I've had barbel. You know, you don't know what you're going to catch, and that's the fun of fishing. And Bonsai is my favourite pond on here, and it's such a great. And we've had skimmers as well, so we've had quite a few different species. And what we got this time, I think it's another. Oh, it's like a little carp this time. It is, and you see what I mean. We've had that many different species. I mean, well, it's fantastic. Just got the band stuck through the there we go, and a nice little carp to finish on. Beautiful little fish. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I've had fun making it. I'm going to try and shoot another one a bit later on today on a different method. So you'll have to wait next week to see which that one is. Thank you again for subscribing, for liking, for the comments that we're getting through are fantastic. Join us on the Facebook group Angling For You. Join us on the Instagram at angling_for_you. If you want to get any merchandise, any t-shirts, we've got hoodies, obviously not this time of year. Just give me a message or a comment below with you know, and then we can exchange direct messages, and we can look at whatever you want. We sort of go up to 4x XL, so you know it's not a problem. Loads of different colours. We do kids ones as well. So yeah, come down to Lindholme Lakes, come and see the guys here. Again, you can stay over on holiday time, or you can just come for the day. There's plenty of lakes here for you to have a look on online, and they've got a Facebook group as well. Thank you to Alex as well for letting us film today. Fantastic lad as always willing to give advice to people, so if you ever want to ask him in the clubhouse for any advice on where to fish or what you want to fish for, they're more than happy to help you. Like I say, make sure you get your tickets before, as soon as you come, get your tickets first before you get your pegs, get that information, get your pellets from there, and you'll have a fantastic day. Just make sure you you bring plenty of different methods because there's so much variety. Enjoy yourself and tight lines.